Welcome back, everyone, to the Road to Paris. For those of you who are just tuning into our Olympic viewing and who haven't been following on the Road to Paris, welcome back to the Paris Pod, rather. This is producer 2. Happy 6th man to everyone who celebrates. He celebrated, just took a 3-hour nap, and now he is ready to get back outside. So I just wanted to let everyone see producer 2, and now it's time to hand him off to producer 1. All right, well, the lucky loser rounds have just been played. So Chase Budinger and Miles Evans, they just played Thomas Hodges, Zach Schubert for the first time, hilariously for the first time that they have ever met. Ended up winning that 21-19, 21-17. Chase was awesome. 4 blocks in the match, and that's a team that you need to block or you're just not going to win. It's one of those teams that they're so physical that they virtually take the defender out of play. And so Miles, for the most part, was taken out of play. And it's up to Chase, and it's up to service pressure and side out to beat a team like that. And they passed the test. Schubert, they switched tactics, went to Schubert. Schubert had 13 errors alone. That was the total that Budinger and Evans had for the match. So super clean match, played very well. And now they have earned a date with Anders Mole and Christian Sorm. The only time they've played was in the Montreal Elite 16 a year ago. They lost 21-8, 21-something. It wasn't great. But as Miles said afterwards with Dane Blanton down on court with NBC, we got another shot, and we're going to give it all we have. That was the smoothest match they played. They played better against France, but Hodges and Schubert are a higher quality team, I think, than Arnaud Gauthier and Youssef Crew. And so to have a win like that is awesome, and now you get a chance at the defending gold medalist, one of the best teams that's ever played in the coolest venue I've ever seen in the sport, the coolest venue that all the players there are saying on the biggest stage in the sport, 12,000-seat stadium. You can't ask for anything more than that for Chase and Miles. So this is going to be a preview of the playoff round. So I have the bracket in front of me. Playoffs start. I'm recording this right after that win from Chase and Miles, so it's 3:53 p.m. on Saturday, August 3rd, I think. I can't. It's 6-man weekend. I can't keep track of days. It is August 3rd is the date. And so Kelly Cheng and Sara Hughes, they play on August 4th. They are the first American team to go. And then Andy Benesh and Miles Partain, they will play Sam Kodafava, Paolo Nicolai on the 5th. Kristen, Nuss, Taryn, Kloth, they play unbelievably. I'll get into this in more detail in a second. Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson right after Benesh and Partain. And then Budinger and Evans will play Norway the next day. So this is what the bracket looks like. It is Qatar. Shout out to them. I got my Doha jersey. I got this. I played a Doha event in 21, I think. A 1-star in Doha in 2021. Kept this jersey because it's kind of sweet. So Qatar, 3-0 in pool play. They play the Grimalt cousins who beat Sam Schachter and Dan Deering. So Dan, if anybody's wondering what happened, he tweaked his back at practice, a serve and pass earlier in the day, and then you could see first 3 points, he was gimpy, went down to pass a float serve on the 3rd point of the match, and he couldn't go get it, and so they didn't bother wasting everyone's time. They forfeited. Super bummed for Sam, one of my favorite people out there. Super bummed for Dan. Awesome that they made the Olympic Games. Huge congratulations to them for making it out of pool play, getting to play in that atmosphere. But the Grimalt cousins are moving on. They will play Qatar. Andy Benesh, Miles Partain will then play Sam Kodafava, Paolo Nicolai. Evandro and Arthur will play Matthew Immers and Steven Vandeveld. David Amon, Jonathan Helvig, unbelievably, will play Cuba's Jorge Alayo and Naslin Diaz. And I'll just pause there. Give me double elimination or give me death. This pool play is madness. So Cuba goes 3-0 in pool play. And what's their reward? Oh, just the number 1 team in the world, the team that had come in on 18 straight match wins, that had come in on 10 straight finals. That's your reward for winning, going 3-0 in pool play. Just make it a 24-team double elim. Make it a 32-team double elim. Everyone says the main argument for pool play is that it's more matches. You can schedule them out. 32-team double elim. It's the purest form. You're not going to get stupid stuff like this where you have a team go 3-0 and then get punished for it by getting Sweden in the first round. It's insane. And the same thing happened on the women's side where Kristen, Nuss, Taryn, Kloth go undefeated in pool play. And who do they get? Mel and Brandie, the 4 seed. So you got the 2 versus the 4 seed on the women's side, a rematch of the AVP Huntington Beach finals, all because pool play is just the most ridiculous format in I can't say all of sports because I don't know how all of sports work, but I just can't imagine a dumber system to do where for the most part you can have a terrible time through pool play and still make it out. We saw that with Valentina Guattardi and Marta Menegatti. They played Kelly Cheng and Sara Hughes. They lose 2 matches, one to Lily and Paula of Spain. They lose 21-17, 21-10 to Anna Patricia and Duda. It doesn't matter. They start right in the round of 16 as if they had gone 3-0. It's just I find it strange that we're still doing pool play, especially since the first Olympic Games in Atlanta were actually double elim, which is, I don't know why we ever went away with it. I think we should go right back to it. I think all beach volleyball tournaments, from the NCAA to the AVP, Volleyball World, Olympics, all be double elim. Make it happen. Just going to rest my case because you have Cuba versus Sweden, you got Mel and Brandie versus Kristen, Nuss, Taryn, Kloth in the first round, and it's done. Moving on. Round after Sweden versus Cuba. Germany's Nils Ehlers and Clemens Wickler play George and Andre of Brazil, a 3-4 matchup, first round of pool. That should be an excellent match. Andre Perisic, David Schweiner, the world champs. They play Stefan Bormans and Jurek de Groot. Should be a phenomenal match. Michal Brill, Bartosz Wojciak play Adrian Gavira and Pablo Herrera, the ageless wonders. Pablo Herrera, 6 Olympic Games. Unreal from him. And then you have Chase Budinger and Miles Evans. They play Anders Mol and Christian Sorm. That is at the bottom. So the first evaluation I have of that is that, and I know that I'm breaking the unspoken rule that you should never say that a draw is easy, but relative to the field of the Olympic Games, Andy and Miles have as friendly of a draw as possible to get to the medal rounds. You don't have to see Sweden, you don't have to see Evandro, you don't have to see Ehlers-Wickler, and you don't have to see Anders and Christian until you get to the medal rounds. They will not see any of them until they could possibly see Sweden in the semifinals. And if you're an American fan, that is all you could possibly ask for. Now, granted, they have to beat Kotofava and Nikolai, who they are 1-2 against in their careers. Then they have to beat Qatar, who is playing sensational right now. Well, likely Qatar. Either Qatar or the Grimmalts. I would highly expect that to be a Qatar matchup in the quarterfinals. And so, but it's not Norway. It's not Sweden. The highest seed you're going to possibly play going into the quarterfinals is the 13, and that's Qatar. So you're not getting 1 through 12 are on the other side of the bracket. That's as good as you can ask for if you're Andy and Miles. And a lot of people have been asking what's going on with the coaching situation with Mike Playcheck. They released a statement essentially just thanking Mike, but saying that they are indeed moving forward without Mike. And just so everyone knows, if you're unfamiliar, coaches on the Beach Pro Tour, the FIVB, and the Olympics, they're not even allowed in the boxes. And so there's no actual coaching on court that happens. So it's your coaching is done in practices, in game planning. And so there wasn't that collapse against Morocco when they were up 18-10, ended up needing to go 28-26. None of that could have possibly been on Mike. So I don't know what happened in between the Morocco versus Brazil matchup. But on court, that was just between Andy and Miles, and I'm not going to speculate on anything. But what the comparison I'm making is it's sort of like when a basketball coach gets kicked out or gets a technical foul and he fires up the team and they go on to play really well without him. Where Andy and Miles, they hit a tipping point. Apparently, they just needed something new, went a different direction. They were an entirely different team against George and Andre, played very well, went back to the 2023 version of themselves. And so I'm just intrigued is the word. I'm very intrigued to see what team comes out against Kotofava and Nikolai and potentially moving forward into the playoffs of these Olympic Games. So that will kind of do it for the men. Those are the big matchups. Benesh Partain, obviously a biggie. Evandro and Arthur are playing phenomenal. Haven't dropped a set, beat the world champs. That's kind of been an underrated storyline that I haven't touched upon. However, if they win, they will likely get Sweden. I know Cuba's playing phenomenal, but I don't see them beating Sweden. And I put out a poll, not a poll, just an opportunity for our YouTube listeners and viewers to ask questions. And one of the questions was, do you think that Jonathan Helvig can withstand the pressure of these Olympic Games? And I've never played in the Olympics. I've never played in front of 12,000 people. Neither has Jonathan Helvig. So I don't know what kind of impact that would have on someone. I would imagine it would have an impact. And just talking with a couple of coaches and players out there, they said, yeah, of course there's nerves. And maybe it's been a bit of a nervy performance from Helvig, but he's played on big stages before. He's played in the World Tour Finals. That's for the biggest prize money in the sport. He's played the World Championships, went 13-15 in the finals to the Czech Republic. So he's played on every big stage except for the Olympic Games. And I think that them going 1-2 and still starting in the round of 16, virtually consequence-free pool play collapse from them, I think that that's actually going to bode well for them because they've hit their rock bottom as far as Sweden goes, and now the only direction they can go is up. He's got the nerves out of his system. Maybe, maybe not. I can't speak for Helvig, but I think that he will be just fine, especially because you have, who is in my mind, the best player in beach volleyball behind him in David Amann. And so I would expect to see a very different version of Sweden coming out from the playoffs that we have seen in pool play. And we see this a lot in Elite 16s, where teams who scrape out of pool end up going on to have very good tournaments because you get it out of your system. You end up playing either a lucky loser match or that play-in match in those Elite 16s. You beat the team that got the bye into the quarterfinals. You go in and you have a great tournament. Kelly Cheng, Sara Hughes, that's how they won the World Tour Finals. They were struggling a little bit in pool play, end up running their way through it. You get your mistakes out early, you adjust, you recover, you play well, and that's what I'm expecting to see from Sweden. All right, I'm going to give a breakdown of the women's side. So we got Anna Patricia and Duda. They have not dropped a set. They will play Japan. One of the most lovely stories of these Olympic Games, Akiko Hasegawa, Miki Ishii, they came in through, they won the Asian Continental Cup, which is just another way of saying the Asian Olympic Trials, and then they ended up just blasting Lithuania, 21-11, 21-5. And I thought it was an injury when I saw the scores, and it wasn't. Japan just went beast mode, evidently. And then they ended up winning their lucky loser, so now they play Anna Patricia and Duda. Don't like that matchup, but tremendous tournament thus far from Japan. Svenja Mueller, Sinja Tillman play Tina Gradina, Anastasia Samoilova. That should be a phenomenal matchup, especially because Tina and Anastasia, they're coming off a win over Mel and Brandie. That's a big league win right there. Meanwhile, Svenja and Sinja coming off a loss to Kelly Cheng, Sara Hughes. That's an absolute coin flip. 9-10 are the seeds, 50-50 shot. If BetOnline puts odds on it, it should just be a straight-up pick 'em. I don't see any favorites in that one. Then you got Carol Salgado, Barbara Seixas. They are playing the Aussies. Maria Artacho, Tuliqua Clancy. Barbara and Carol, they've been tremendous. They won 1917, the third, to claim the top spot in their pool over Raisa Skone and Katja Stam. So it's good to be tested as well going into playoffs. The Aussies, defending silver medalists, playing okay. The Australians, the comparison I made the other day is like, it's sort of like that, like a Russell Wilson type. You keep expecting to see that all-pro quarterback in there somewhere, and every now and then he'll throw it in there, but you just keep waiting. You're like, well, he was really good 2 years ago. Where's the all-world Russell Wilson? That's kind of what I'm seeing with Australia, because I picked them actually to beat Kristen and Taryn in pool play. Was very wrong. So congrats to TKN for proving me wrong on that one. But the Aussies, they still have the phenomenal play in them. It just hasn't been super consistent. And now it's make or break. If they don't bring their best, Barbara and Carol are going to jump on them. Now, Barbara and Carol was struggling coming into these Olympic Games, hadn't done much this entire season, really, outside of the Doha Elite 16. They've since recovered very well. They're playing fantastic here, and so it's just going to be a matter of which Australian teams comes to play. Is it the silver medalist of the Tokyo Olympic Games, or is it the one who's just been very up and down and topsy-turvy in 2024? Chen Shu, Xinyi Xia playing Esme Bobner and Zoe Verger-Dupre, Esme and Zoe, having a strange Olympic Games, kind of, because they were sensational against Mel and Brandie, beat them in 3. They crushed Tina and Anastasia, 14-15, and then they went to 3 with Paraguay. So again, which Esme and Zoe show up? Now, I love Esme and Zoe's game because they are one of the best serving teams in the world. Serving travels, defense travels. Everyone knows that I love the best defensive teams. But then you got China, whose only losses are in 3 to Kristen and Taryn, deep in 3 to Australia. They're playing excellent. They just haven't quite turned the corner in those close matches. I'd give this slight favorite to Zoe and Esme, maybe a 52-48% chance over China. And then you got Kelly Cheng, Sara Hughes playing the Italians. Marta Menegatti, Valentina Gottardi. I mentioned that they have been struggling, but they're 1-2 against Kelly and Sara. They're only meeting this year. They won in 3 in the Topeka Elite 16 pool play. Every match that they have with one another has gone 3. That said, Kelly and Sara are playing some of the best volleyball I've seen them play, especially Kelly Cheng. Her angle-to-angle serves at Svenja Mueller's left shoulder were such a problem. Her blocking is a problem. Her optioning is a problem. I think that Kelly's actually been the best player of these Olympic Games on the women's side thus far. She's been fantastic. And so they are the nightcap match on, let me get the schedule for you guys, on August 4th, I believe. So they are the 1 p.m. Pacific match on Sunday. The last match of the day on Sunday against Valentina and Menegatti in her 4th Olympics. Well done to her. I'm giving the big favorite to Kelly and Sara, even though they've gone 3 of the Italians every time. Still like them a lot to sweep this one. Lily Fernandez, the legend, Paula Soria up against Nina Brunner, Tanya Huberly. My goodness gracious. Nina and Tanya are mercy ruling people out there. Now, I mentioned that Kelly, I think, is playing the best of anyone in the tournament. Nina and Tanya are having the best pure tournament as a team. They are murdering teams. And so I think that they will probably do the same to Lily and Paula. All due respect to them. And then, unfortunately, should Nina and Tanya win and Kelly and Sara win, we will see that matchup in the quarterfinals instead of the semis or medal rounds. And I think both of them coming in, I had them as medal favorites, and only one of them, provided they don't get upset in the first round, will be moving on into the semifinals. But if they play each other in the quarterfinals, that's appointment viewing. Get your popcorn ready. Daniela Alvarez, Tanya Moreno up against Raisa Skun and Katja Stam. Daniela and Tanya, this is another coin flip between you, two young, very good defensive teams. Daniela and Tanya have been playing up and down, and it's just going to come down to, in my opinion, to the ball control of Katja Stam. If she's passing well, optioning well, if she's blocking well, it's going to be an issue for Spain. Slight favorite to Katja Stam and Raisa Skun. And then you have the most intriguing first-round matchup of them all. You got Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson against Kristen, Nuss, and Taryn Kloth. Now, in 12 previous meetings, Nuss and Kloth are 8-4 against them. However, they lost their most recent one, a barn burner in the Huntington Beach finals. And it's just such a bummer again. Just give me double elim, guys. Give me double elim. To see this as the first-round matchup of elimination in the Olympic Games, I hate it. The 2 versus the 4. Would love to see this as a semifinal or quarterfinal or medal match. Instead, we get it in the 9th place rounds. And I know that, Mel and Brandie, they wouldn't be in the situation if they just took care of their business in pool play, but just give me double elim. Give me double elim. Now, giving Nuss and Kloth the favorite in that one just because they're playing better than Mel and Brandie. But again, they've gotten their nerves out. They've gotten their bad matches out. They looked way better against Bar Hermanova and Marisa Aristokova and the lucky losers. They won 21. Double-checking the scores, but I think it was 2015, 21-12. 2015, 21-12 is correct. And so they've gotten their nerves out. Whatever test they needed to pass has been passed. And so now they are coming in with extra reps, extra momentum against Kristen and Taryn. And that is appointment viewing and must-watch television. So get your popcorn ready for that one. Kristen, Nuss, Taryn Kloth against Mel and Brandie. That one is coming up on August 5th, which is Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So wherever you're watching, you can do the math conversion on that one. So that's our little playoff preview. Congratulations to all 4 USA beach volleyball teams making it into the round of 16. Congratulations to the American men indoors for winning their pool. Shout out Mike Ma, my guy. I know you're not getting much time, but love you, buddy. Great job out there. And congrats to the USA women who have also broken pools. So far for USA volleyball, all 6 of our teams still in it. Well done, everyone. Appreciate the producers out there in the back. Going to go play with producer 2 outside before it's his bedtime. So thank you guys for following along in the Olympic race. I've been live tweeting the whole thing at Travis Mew. I don't even know my own Twitter handle, but find me on Twitter, find me on YouTube, hit us up, comment, let's have a good conversation. Let's keep watching some Olympic beach volleyball. Shoot.